I'm Trevor Turner. Once lost, now living on purpose. I know what it's like to feel locked out of your own potential. This show is for the ones who are ready to take their power back and write a new story, 1 hour at a time. You can do it. You can do anything, and you don't need permission. That's why I started the free hour, to give people the space to change their story, to remind them you are not your past, you are not your mistakes, you are not done, you are powerful. You can find freedom, you can find yourself, and you decide what happens next.
Okay, welcome back to part two of a special series of the free hour entitled Paroli Paradise. Today we're talking with Trevor Turner, and yesterday we went over his upbringings, and we got a little more into it about him doing time in prison, and we're about to start where we left off.
Okay, so yeah, I think yesterday we left off with, I talked a little bit about, doing music and all that, doing good, kind of like, but still being the same person, still being like a dry drunk or whatever, or like a still addicted, sober person, but still just being that same person and bringing that same energy into everything, not really changing anything about me. It was just, so I ended up getting the same results when COVID hit. I get back to selling drugs and stuff. I caught a few cases, and that's actually how I met you.
Right.
So one of the things that I like to do is I like to kind of slow down when we get here, because here is where I would say that I feel like my life started. Like I went through a lot of different things when I was a kid with, my pops being addicted, alcoholic, mom's being addicted, alcoholic, mental health issues, everything, all that upbringing, all that stuff growing up. And if the story would have stopped, like right before I got locked up, right before this change and transformation, then that would have been the end of it.
That would have been it.
I would have focused so much on all of those hardships growing up, all of my childhood, adverse childhood experiences, all of my, my environment, the people who were around me and everything. But now that I'm where I'm at now, the major turning point for me was this go around, because I got there, and like I told you yesterday, it was like 3 days after my birthday I got popped.
This is in Bakersfield, Kern County.
Kern County is in Bakersfield. It's actually on Stockdale Highway. I was riding up Stockdale Highway. I had a pistol in the car, had a little bit of coke in the car, like 20 grams. I was already on bail fighting a burglary and a criminal threats charge, which was like domestic related. And then I get popped riding up Stockdale Highway like 3 in the morning, 20 grams of coke, pistol in the glove box, this girl that I was messing with at the time in the passenger seat, and we both go to jail. And that's 3 days after my birthday in 2021. So 3 days later, within 3 days after, like, stuff started coming out of my system, and I started like actually being able to stay awake for
reality was kicking in.
Reality started kicking in. And the thing about it is like before, when reality would kick in before, I would be sad, I'd be mad, I'd be scared, I'd be depressed, I'd be all of those, that mixture of feelings, right? And this time though, and this is where the major turning point started, because I wasn't any of those things.
Right.
I just knew I'm gonna be gone for years. I'm not gonna see my family, I'm not gonna see my friends, I'm not gonna see the streets, and I was cool with that. I was okay with it.
You needed that.
I know I'm going up to this prison again in California again. I'm not from here again, but it's like I'm still okay with it because I know how to maneuver, I know how to handle myself. And that is what I did not like. I was just like, this is my life. Like this is what it amounts to. This is where I'm comfortable at. This is what
the standard, you lowered yourself to the standard that was way down.
And,
way beneath. It was way beneath than the normal human would be. You know what I mean?
It's like, like liquor store food is what I'm gonna think is a delicacy. Because I had my guy. His name's Juice. He's from out here in Bakersfield too. He's from the country, but he was up there where I was at, and he was like, man. If you think about it, everything you get on the commissary is liquor store food. You can get everything on the commissary at the liquor store.
Trap food.
And it's just like, yeah, you can. And we're thinking like, oh man, this is bomb. making, the rice bowls and everything. We're doing the spreads. We're doing all of this other stuff. And it's just like, this is liquor store burritos.
Right.
And, but yeah, so this is where the major turning point started, because it was like, this is what I made myself into. When I was younger and I was like going through all them, the rites of passage and all of that, and becoming myself and figuring out who I was as a man and everything, I just kept on remembering, telling myself, like, this is what I want to be. I want to be a gangster. I want to be somebody. I want to be this. I want to be that. I want to have whatever, all of that other stuff.
Schemes.
And, I wanted to be a hustler. I wanted to be all of that, right? And that's what I became. I did that. I succeeded and I accomplished what I wanted to accomplish. So, but I didn't like what that actually turned out to be.
Yeah, reality kicked in. Like, this is. I did it now. Now that you really did, you did what you wanted to do, and there was nothing. There was no reward in it. You were still empty.
There was no reward in it. I was still empty. The reward was actually some bullshit.
Right.
And I was just like, I was like, man, I really want something different. I really want something different. And now, so this time, mind you, this is, we talked about it when we went over your story. This is where I met you at.
Yeah, we want to go let's go to your shoes.
And I wanted something different. I knew that I didn't know how I was going to get it. I didn't know where I was going to find it. I didn't know what I was going to do. I just know I wanted something different. So I started looking. And I think that was the difference, the main difference before, because I was searching for something because I knew that I wanted something different. Before, I was like, I just don't want to go to jail again.
You were just trying to, avoid that.
I was just trying to avoid jail. But that means, like, you can still sell drugs as long as you are doing it smarter. You can still steal from people as long as you're doing it better. You can still do this, you can still do that,
Yeah.
You can dibble and dabble, you can have your 1 foot in, 1 foot out, or you can have both feet in, but as long as you're doing it in a better way, you'll avoid jail.
Yeah, the illusion that somehow you were going to beat the game, even though the game never got beat.
Yeah, and so, but this time I was like, nah, I really want something different fully. So I started looking for different stuff, and I remember this is where I started having the first conversations with you. You started kind of bringing me back towards God, towards Yahweh, towards Jesus, and this is where I started like actually seeking out like stuff to replace all of the bullshit that I knew I needed to let go of.
Yeah, I seen it. I seen you. Even the stuff you were reading, you put away the urbans because first was the urbans. All that bullshit was gone.
Yeah.
Then you were getting more into even a sci-fi books or whatever kind of books that were more intellectual, different things, bigger words.
Yeah.
Then I seen you getting into the journal, the stuff out. What was that book that you were always reading? It was like once a day type thing.
Oh yes, Think and Grow Rich, and I talk about this book on the channel all the time. This was the very first major step, I feel like.
That's what the flame. That's one of the flames
It
that got lit.
sparked the flame because it, in a lot of ways, it taught me about not being able to get something for nothing. It taught me about my mindset, my mental state. It taught me about like the fact that I'm the one who's responsible for where I was at.
For your own actions.
And it taught me that I can be responsible for something different. It told me so much more than it would seem to be about, because it feels like it would just be like money-minded, money consciousness. But the thing is like he told us it's more than that. It's about becoming. It's about being. Like if you want to get this and you want to get better results, you need to be better. And it's not like being a different person, it's just being a better version of yourself. It's bringing everything that you have within you to the table that I wasn't bringing before. And so that one, it really sparked the flame. Also, I think reading to Marcelli, shout out to Marcelli.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, he did. You were getting sharp on it. I remember I was pass by like, what are you guys doing? And he would just be in there reading, and I was sharpening it. And the way you were pronouncing words and the way you were shooting it, you liked your voice.
Yeah.
And when you got to, in order to be in this kind of field, you got to be comfortable how your voice sounds.
And I think that did help me to get to the point where I could be comfortable, just kind of talking with one person around, nobody around, and just kind of saying how I feel about stuff.
That was for a reason. God put him in your life for a reason, because that's rare that you get somebody that like that, and then you were just and you felt comfortable doing it to them.
Yeah.
Some people, you're like, get away, I don't got time for this, but you were like, you enjoyed it.
And because I remember telling him, like, I was like, oh, bro, you can't read? Like, and he would be like, he'd get all defensive and shit. And I would just be like, I'm not judging you at all, bro. Like, first of all, he can't see shit.
Blind like a bat.
He can't see nothing.
That was a big part of it.
The glasses he had were like that thick.
Yeah, I remember putting them on, I couldn't see.
And and they still weren't strong enough for him. Like, his eyes were broke. They were broken. And so
legally blind type.
And then on top of that, because his eyes were so bad, I think that as a kid, his eyes were so bad, he never was able to learn how to read like that. Because when he finally actually started learning how to, like, sound stuff out, he would literally have to hold the book to his face like this.
I remember I would catch him.
So he could
even the magazines, because I remember I had a lot of magazines and stuff and books like Incredible, whatever, Ripley's Believe It or Not type stuff. He'd be like, what are you doing, dude?
And the crazy part about it was, like, I remember at the very beginning, it took him like an hour to read like one page of an Urban, with the very simple reading and stuff.
The Flint?
Yeah.
The one I brought the Flint?
The Flint ones, some of the ones that
what was the homeboy from Oakland?
Yeah, the one that he had got sent in. What's his name?
D.
Yeah, Lil D. And then I had got some sent in from my ex or whatever.
You were getting some too.
And then and it took him like an hour to get through the page. And then I remember, like, as I was getting ready to leave, he was cruising, because he would read out loud too, and he would just every word, to the point where it's like he wasn't having to sound out words anymore. He was remembering them.
Syllables before.
Remembering syllables, remembering how to pronounce the words and stuff, which is like the core of reading. Like, you see it, you remember that word, and it just processes. You're not reading every word.
Your brain automatically does it.
So he was getting to that point, and he got to that point quick. And, like, to be honest, like, that was great.
That's a blessing.
And I remember saying some stuff. Me and JV were talking about it. I remember I said it to you once. I was like, yeah, man, if me and JV were Mexican, they would have been made a movie about me already. I would have been played by Edward James Olmos.
Yeah.
Look at JV.
I'll say something like that,
Yeah, like, if I was a white dude or whatever teaching my silly how to read, like, they would have been made a movie about me already. But just the fact that it was us and who we were, it made me feel like no one would have valued what I had to say. And that's what I remember you telling me, like, no, people need to hear this. Like, you need to do this. You shoot this shit.
Yeah.
You need to do this. Because it was the book, the Apostle Paul book.
Yeah, that was hard.
And you was like, yeah, no, bro, you need to do this. Like, you need to do this.
Your voice popped out. You tripped me out when you started doing it. I was like, oh, this one talks like a professor, like at a big university.
Yeah. And so that was like the major, like,
that's a spark dude.
Where I started getting the glimpse, like, okay, I can do something different. Because at first it was like, well, how do I make what I'm doing now more positive? And then, like, music-wise and stuff like that. And then I started to, like, through Think and Grow Rich, I found new goals, and then Purpose-Driven Life. Purpose-Driven Life was also the second major turning point, because I started to see my gifts through that experience in the county jail. I started to see where my desires laid and how to use the gifts. I started to see what I was good at. And I started to see how I could relate to people in a certain way, and certain types of people, because I can go up to somebody that most people would be too scared to talk to, and I could tell them, like, nah, bro, you need to get your shit together.
Slipping, yeah.
You're slipping. You need to get your shit together.
But mind us, this wasn't your ordinary county county jail stay, because usually a county jail stay is real quick. You won't even get a time to clean up to get sober. Sometimes you're in and out. But it was COVID, so it was like an extended stay. So this gave us time to focus and to build bonds, and it was a learning experience,
Definitely was a learning experience, because I remember, because normally in the county, if you're going, by the time after your prelim, they're starting to shoot deals at you, whatever. So 2-3 months, you're gone. You're on the way to the prison. So, I mean, that's how it was for me all the time.
No, it is.
This time it was 7, 8 months, 9 months, just getting ready to get this little 4 years, 8 months out the way. So, like, I was already on the way to prison with a new mindset. So it's not like I just found something in jail.
You were ready.
And like I just ran with it and took it to the streets because it was something like I was worried about what was going to happen to me. I took what I was starting to find in the county and went to the prison and sharpened it the fuck up there. So like when I went to the prison, first place I went to was Wasco. I started first with, praying for people up there. I started first with talking about the Word of God. I started with, staying on my books, reading my books. I found another couple people up there who, enjoyed like reading to them and stuff like that. Because to me, reading is an escape.
It is.
Reading isn't more of an escape than watching a movie, because if you read a book, that's and it takes you 2 weeks to read that book. That's a 2-week-long mental movie that brings you out of prison. So I would read to people over the course, and they would be like, man, like, it feels like I'm out. It feels like I'm in the book. It feels like I'm gone. And so that's why, like, the entertainment value of educational things started to, show themselves to me. And then I would talk about the ways that I found my mentality and, like, why I was so positive all the time, why I had a smile on my face, why I felt good, and, like, even we went to quarantine overflow on the 3-yard in Wasco, and we were in there 24 hours a day in the cell. And
bird bath.
Had the bird bath and all that stuff, still working out, still doing all this stuff, bird bathing, and still had that attitude. So the porters would come and they would get a bar from me. They would get a word from me. They would get like something to help motivate them and carry them through.
What's the word of the day, or what's the phrase of the day?
Yeah,
type
stuff like that, or like, hey, you want to do the closing prayer after the roll call and stuff. Mind you, that this isn't something that everybody respected.
No.
But they respected it when we was doing it, because they knew that, like, this dude is just starting his stuff.
You were genuine.
Yeah, like, this dude is just starting his stuff. He didn't fold. He didn't go to the other side with it. He's still over here doing it. So they was like, okay, well, we got to respect it. They're going to respect it. And they thought it was genuine. And so after that, I went down to, my 2 yards or whatever. And then I was just reading books, talking to people, and figuring out what it is that I'm going to bring to people, what it is that I'm going to talk to people. Because by this time,
no school action? No, you didn't get no education in there?
Nah, so the first spot I was at, the 2 yard, they closed it, so I didn't get into school. The second one, they were dangling MCRP in front of me already.
So you're ready to go.
So I was like ready to go, so I didn't sign up for no school. I went to committee and stuff, and they're like, yeah, you're going to go. You're getting ready to go to MCRP. That took 2 committee reviews, because the first one, my endorsement came, and then they just never picked me up. So I had to go back to committee again. They redid it, re-endorsed me, and then they finally came and got me. But by that time it had already been a semester and a half gone by, so I could have done school. I just didn't start it.
You didn't want to start it because you were going to get picked up.
I thought I was going to get picked up, and I didn't want to get all W's or F's. So I was like, I'll start when I get out. I'll do my thing. But I'm still doing the self-education.
Like what book were you reading?
So I read a lot of books in there, because first of all, I had this book called The Mentor and the Kid, or CEO, Mentor and the Kid. That's one that the chaplain in the county gave us. So there was a book list in the back. So if anybody has an opportunity to check this book out, CEO, Mentor and the Kid, there's a book list in the back of that book. I've knocked out a third of it, I think, or a quarter of it so far. That book list is the foundation of where I'm going with it. There's some other books that I'm going to talk about at the end of this one that are on it. I think one book I want to shout out right now, though, that's not on that list, or it might be on the list. It's The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck.
That's what it's called?
And I'm going to talk about why this book is so amazing here in a little bit once I get towards the end of this part. But like 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, Unlimited Power, Awaken the Giant Within, Richest Man in Babylon, Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus. Like it's all these books with all this different knowledge that comes together to help you as a person to affect the core of who you are. And what it is not just saying like you need to change who you are as a person. It's just change how you as a person interacts with the world, because you can always be better. You can always do better. You can always interact better. But the thing is like everything that you want to do, everything that you need to do what you want to do is already in there.
Right.
You was born with it. Like, you just are using it either for the wrong shit, you're using it for stuff that doesn't even, and when I say the wrong stuff, I mean stuff that doesn't help you. Like, if it's giving you results that you don't want, then you're using it in the wrong way. So I would read those type of books. I was talk to those type of people. Obviously stayed in the Bible. Obviously stayed in my word. And then, finally got to MCRP. And this is where, I think the rest...
Journey began? You started school right away?
I started school right away. So I got there in October of 23. And I started back to school in January of 24 in the spring semester. And I think at this point, like, the rest is history, because
You dove in?
I got the Obama phone and immediately started doing content. And I didn't know how to talk. I didn't know what I was saying.
How to record?
I didn't really know how to record. I just had the phone here, and I'm just like, hey, man, you can do better, and the positive affirmations, and believe in yourself, and let's do it. But finally, I started.
You were doing it more for yourself.
I was doing it for myself, because it was like, this is what I told myself I'm gonna do, and I didn't want to wait until I had it perfect or the right time or whatever, because if I would have done that,
you never would have did it.
I still wouldn't be doing it now.
That's what I did.
I would say like, oh, well, we got 2 people, so we need 2 professional mics dangling from the ceiling, and we need 2 cameras here and a 3rd camera there. Instead of just saying, like, be good with what you got and just start and talk, and just like bring you into it, because, like I said, everything that I needed was already in.
How'd you come up with the name?
The Free Hour. So actually, I came up with it because of that experience in the county. Because we only had an hour out.
Yeah.
And that hour, I had to use it to carry me through the other 23. So, like, I would implement positive stuff into my life through that hour. Like, I would go socialize on the phone with my family, get my social health out the way. I would come holler at you, get my spiritual out the way, do a little prayer. I would, go talk to other people about different books and about different little positivity
Maybe catch
stuff.
Another book somewhere.
Maybe catch another book or catch a bar of another book that I couldn't bring back to my cell. I would, do my piece of a workout. I would do all of these different things in that hour to help all different aspects of my health and my body and my mental, my spiritual, my emotional, all of that. And I would use that to carry me through the other 23. And the reason I feel like it works is because a lot of us, when we're on the streets, a lot of us who've never even been to jail are locked into shit for all day, every day, that isn't something that we necessarily want. Like, a lot of us are locked into jobs we don't want. A lot of us are locked into relationships.
People don't want to be in these jobs.
Relationships you don't want, friendships that aren't necessarily uplifting, fulfilling. You're locked into a whole bunch of stuff that you don't want to be in, but you got a free hour. You have a free hour of your day that you can start to implement through small changes that will start to change your trajectory. Because I remember it was the analogy of the plane. Like, if a plane leaves from LA and it's going to the East Coast, a 2-degree difference in where, like, its flight path will end up on 2 different ends of that coast. Like a 2 or 3 degree difference.
Yeah.
So it's like every single day when I'm out there and I'm getting a little bit of a prayer, positivity, or I'm doing a little bit of a workout, or I'm doing something, that's like a 1 degree, 2 degree difference. But over the course of time, over the course of being consistent, over the course of keeping at it, it makes major differences. Like, if we just sum it up real quick, so I think if we just sum up everything that I've done, because mind you,
let's get to your compliments.
it was about 3 years of work, from county jail to the prison. 3 years of just working on myself and just chipping away at all the BS and everything up here that I need to get rid of. And then when I got out, I think this semester I got a B. That's the only time I've touched anything lower than an A since I got out. I've been to leadership in Umoja. I've been leadership in A2Men. I've been leadership in NASP. I work here at the Rising Scholars Program. I worked for Amen. I worked for Umoja. I worked for counseling. I've gotten a gang of scholarships. I've gotten student leadership. I've got mentoring. I've gotten awards like a
Gang.
I have a box at the house with awards and plaques and pieces of paper that I've gotten just because I carried through with everything that I said I was going to do just on for myself. And
it got noticed.
And it got noticed because one of the things that happens is that I'm not going to settle anymore for mediocrity. Like, it may look like this stuff is mediocre as I'm building it up, but to me, this is me. I'm giving the best of what I got at the moment. And so now I'm going to go back real quick to the subtle art of not giving a fuck, because that book I just started this book. It's an amazing book. And the reason I say it's amazing is because I'll give you an example. If I was to give too much of a fuck about stuff, I would go back and say, no, it isn't the right time, or we don't have the right equipment, or we don't have the right space, or we don't have this. Instead of just saying, you know what, I don't give a fuck about that. Let's do this message.
Yeah, I hear you.
Or like with you, like, people are saying this, people are saying that. They don't want me to be talking about God. They don't want me to go to God, but I don't give a fuck about that. I give a fuck about God.
Right.
When it talks about not giving a fuck, it doesn't mean not giving a fuck about nothing. It means not giving a fuck about what's not important.
Right,
what they say, how they feel, how you feel like you're going to look, your pride. None of that shit is important. What's important is what you decide to make important. And you have that power over your life. So, like with school, my thing with school, I give a fuck about finishing school because that, I feel, is my route to get to where I want to go.
When a B is bad for you, that's a good thing.
Yeah. When a B is bad.
Yeah, I got a B just and I was sick.
Yeah.
I didn't want to be.
And you know, I'm a blood, and I hate I fucking hate it. I would rather have gotten a C than a B. That just means that I missed assignments.
Yeah.
That's what that means. Like, I would rather have, like, you know, completely fucked my shit up instead of getting a B instead of an A.
Because you still were gonna pass.
Because, you know, it's like, fuck, man, I could have done better. I could have brought everything to it. It was just juggling and balancing.
Yeah, but now you know, like the same thing. Like what happened was, like, how I got my B is that I didn't read the book. It's like you take, because this class was old school class where you have to actually read, and you take actual test on paper. And he told me read the chapter, and I was like, nah, I got this. I'll read the summary and I'll take it. But he told me how to do it. He gave me the outline what to do with the study guide, and I just thought I just didn't listen. And now I know. Now every class that requires you to take to read the chapter, read it. I suggest that if you have you're taking a course in college, and the professor tells you to read it, read it. Even if it's boring.
Especially if it's boring.
Because it's gonna. Once you read it, you might not seem like you're remembering it, but it's in there. Because once you see it on the test, when that pops up, you see the word, you're gonna recognize that word, and the other questions are not gonna be the right answer. They're gonna be like way off. So you're gonna see the one word that you recognize it, and you're gonna be able to pass that test if you read the chapter.
Yeah, you got to read, you got to study, you got to do all that. And you just have to put your all into what it is.
And you got to show up to class.
And you got to show up.
Take notes. Quit playing.
And I feel the same way about if you're trying to learn a trade. You got to learn. You got to show up. You got to pay attention. You got to put your all into it. Whether it's whatever it is that you're learning, because unless you already locked into a career, if you are, you're probably not watching this.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
You're probably flipping burgers.
You're probably, if you're watching this, you're probably like one of us. You're probably tatted down from the hairline down, or maybe even above the hairline.
Right.
And you're like, how do I make stuff pop for me? Maybe school isn't the right route for you, but you still need to learn a trade. Like, go and become an electrician or a plumber.
You can get it here at the college. There's trades, plenty of different trades routes. Like me right now, I got my degrees and all that, but I'm still gonna get. I still see a lot of good stuff here. I can get like video, photography, robotics, animation, different stuff. Stuff you could get quick, and then it's free.
Welding.
Yeah, welding exactly too. Like,
it's damn near free.
It's always better to go to the community college because it's cheaper.
It's cheaper. Yeah.
And it's the same thing. So you want to get what you can out of the community college before being to a university is a big step. So, but once you get there, you put your all in there. So I'm still going through that, so I'll let you know how that goes. But from what I know, when I hear from the people tell me that it's best to get even for the professors tell you, get what you can get out of the community college where you can.
Yeah, definitely. I feel the same way about that. And especially even like the trades, like because you don't have to continue going after community college if you get a trade.
Refrigeration's good. People want to do that.
Just get your or industrial automation. You get that here too.
That's here.
You know?
That's rare, huh? You get it here.
Yeah, you go work in the factory, not like doing the labor and stuff, but you're running the little machines that are doing all of that stuff, and it's like that sets you up for the rest of your life.
Especially out here in the valley, there's a lot of places where you can work.
Or learning how to do solar, learning about all of that stuff. Like you can establish yourself. And one of the things that happens is that I found out the reason that school was the thing for me is because education is the equalizer when it comes to people with a record. So it's like, and I did the research on it for one of my classes. If you get vocational training, because recidivism now is like, what, 80, 90% in California, right? If you get vocational training, it goes down to like 30%. People with vocational training, it's like 70% of people with vocational training, you're not going back to prison because you have a reason to stay away and be able to avoid that lifestyle because now you're making money and you're making good money. Like you're making good enough money to where you don't need so many side hustles. Like you can invest, you can maybe do clothing on the side, you can do music on the side, you can do stuff on the side. You can even fund it with your trade.
You don't even have to do something on the side though if you don't want to.
And if you didn't want to, you don't have to.
If you got kids or whatever, you can be family man, like the man you could never work.
And then once you get an associate's degree, it goes down to like 23 to 17% of recidivism rate with an associate's degree. Bachelor's degree is like 7% or something like that. And a master's degree, no one who has a master's degree or above who's been to prison has gone back yet.
You don't go back.
So it's at 0%.
That's my goal.
And you know, these numbers might be a little bit off or whatever, but the point is like, so from vocational training up, it cuts it in more than half. It's the equalizer, and I know a lot of people will say, "Oh, I got a record, they'll never hire me."
Own that shit.
You got to own it. You got to accept it. You got to realize this is where you start from. You can't go back and change the past.
The degrees gonna outshine that record. They're gonna be like they're not gonna they're like, okay, your record. They're not even gonna care about that. Like, this guy's a good worker. Your resume is gonna outshine that. And now there's so much ways that you can get that expunged and all that. Don't ever think that it's never true. You could, like, if anybody wants to inbox us, if you guys want to get your record expunged, and we can do that. We can help you guys out.
Yeah, we can definitely do that. Yeah, because that's actually something in the program that I work in up here for now until I move on to the next spot. That's one of the things that we help people with. We plug people in with that. So yeah, I kind of went off on a tangent right there, but
that's good stuff, though.
You know, I'm working. I'm taking these years.
So what's your goal? What's your main goal, and what's your aspirations for when you leave community college, and you start in your new journey?
So my main goal, obviously, is I want to continue building this. You know, the free hour, the free hour network. So, you know, the free hour as it stands right now is just me. But the network is now like Parolee Paradise.
Right.
You know, other people coming in and talking about their experiences. Like, that's how I want to build up.
It could be even a cooking show. It could be
even a cooking show where you're talking about healthy recipes and mindfulness while you're cooking. Like, even something like that would be amazing. It would be great. Gardening. I've talked to the homegirl about gardening.
Need that.
Fitness. You know, I've already done fitness. I've already done stuff where I've done. I do the burpees. We did a burpee video that's on the channel, and expanding it, making it bigger, building it into something bigger. That's obviously the main goal. And I think the way that I'm going to go about doing that, obviously, I came to school to learn how to do it. So this beginning stages of school, I'm learning how to use the equipment. I'm learning how to use the software. Now I got some equipment. I'm securing myself more software. I'm learning better ways and how to use it. As I move on to the next spot, it's more about how to make this shit look better for everybody who I can bring on board. So it's like you hit me up and be like, I got a topic, I got a series I want to do. So I can come and for now be the one to do it.
You're the platform.
From top to bottom, and it looks amazing, it looks great, it looks professional because I'm learning how to do it. I'm taking advantage of organized knowledge through schooling. And then I'm gonna continue on though, and higher beyond like bachelor's, I'm gonna get master's, all that other stuff, so that I can learn how to make it as far-reaching and impactful as possible, especially for people in places that we've come from, places that we've been, communities that we've affected.
And we can be motivation for all the people that we met back there. Because there was, man, I ain't gonna lie, man, there was a lot of good people that I met in there that they're never coming home. And they were good people, just made maybe a mistake or whatever. And I know they're rooting for us.
Yeah.
And they're gonna be seeing us in there.
Definitely.
They'll see us online. You know who you guys are.
Definitely, because I met a whole bunch of them who was just like, and I remember when I was younger, when I was a kid, and all the older cats who had been there, 20, 30, whatever, telling me like, hey, you don't belong here. This isn't the spot for you.
Not the spot for
you're
nobody,
good,
man.
And then of course this time around, they're like, man, you carry it well, you do your time well, like you built for this and all that stuff. But I hope that you do something different. And the fact that like that change happened also was another wake-up call for me, because I remember when I was 18, 19, and the OGs in prison was telling me like, bro, this ain't for you. Don't throw your life away doing this shit. And now I'm in my 30s going back again, and the dudes who've been down that same amount of
learn how to
time,
do your time.
They're like, no, man, you carry yourself well, like, you got it in you, you built for this, but I hope that everything works out for you the way you want to do it. And I think one of the things is they also see the genuine desire and the genuine drive for it. They see where I want to go with it.
Maybe in the future we could go in there and do a podcast for people in there, because there's people in there still making stuff happen. Even just because you're locked up doesn't mean you can't make stuff happen. You can still get your career going. You can still get your college going. Now with these new laws, people might get. You can see daylight.
Yeah.
And if you're doing a little bit a nice little number, you might not get your degrees. And when you come out, you're gonna be cooked. You mean to be on.
And that's one of the things I did notice is that there's a lot of hope going around right now, especially with new laws and the way things are going. There's a lot of hope. And I think that's one of the things that helped carry me through also and help motivate me to really do this, because people need hope. People ain't got no hope.
Yeah, and hopefully we could be that hope. And I know people are like, they see us and they're like, man, I remember these guys, and then they can see, if you knew who I was before, then now you know that I was a whole different person.
Yeah, I do have people who, they knew who I was before, and they're just like...
Some people don't like it, some people do. But you gotta respect it.
Some people don't like it, some people do, and there are people out there that don't respect it either. I mean,
you get a couple hate comments.
Yeah, but I mean, it is what it is. You're never gonna do nothing about it.
Right.
I mean, it's like...
Behind a keyboard?
Yeah, so my thing is...
But we don't care no more.
Now I have people who never met that person, but they've heard about that person, or like females
that
or whatever.
That person is dead, though. We're a new creation.
Yeah, they look at my record and they be like, I can't imagine you being that person. And it's like, yeah, because I'm not that person no more.
It's not that person's dead. I mean, talking about that is like digging up a grave.
It's like digging up a grave. That's like one of the reasons that I don't like to talk about. That's why the childhood, my teenage years, all my prison time and stuff, that's why it kind of seemed like it was like, yesterday's thing was like 45 minutes. And it just kind of went over 30-something years of history like that, because that's not what I see as important anymore. Even though I feel like it shaped me into who I am today. And but
in a way like this, if we never got locked up, maybe it would have altered the whole different universe.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I thought about that today. It was like, man, I was talking to Johnny. He was like, so you had to get locked up for you to do this? I was like, you know what? That's true. Like, if I never would have got locked up, I never would have. I would still have been out. Maybe I would have still been rapping, barely risking my life all day just to get a couple dollars. I would have probably been working a construction or field job, not happy. And having the same dreams. I would always have dreams about being in school with no shoes on, or I'm late to my class.
Yeah. So
schools, man, is beautiful, and I fell in love with education, and I hope that you guys can fall in love with education as well.
And I think that's one of the things I want to do parallel to what I'm doing is I want to, because like I said, I've fallen in love with education, but not only on both sides of it, not only me getting educated, but like seeing other people who come from similar stuff that we come from, and seeing other people who haven't, just come in and get an education.
Just like today, some lady came in. She just did 26 years in prison.
Oh yeah.
And she seen me, and she's like, "Well, you work here?" Like, "Yeah, come on, man." And just me able to help them and guide them through and give them a little bit of support, it just makes my day.
Yeah. Like I want to parallel that with like, you know, building up this network. I want to work in education.
Oh yeah, we are.
I want to get to the point where I'm, you know.
We are working in education right now.
Yeah, but I want to keep doing it. I want to keep, you know, working for Rising Scholars or working for Amen or working for Umoja, you know. Being somebody who actually cares is going to show up.
Now, when we get to the university, it's going to get bigger. So it's going to be more people. They're going to be opening up new doors. We're going to meet the right. God's going to put the right people in our lives, and you're going to see what we'll do another one. Next semester when we start at CCB, we'll do one from that school.
Definitely.
And then we're going to see that this is the beginning. It's like we don't really know nobody. It's kind of nerve-wracking. But then you're going to see us grow, and that's going to be. You're going to just keep. You guys just stay tuned. We got some good content for you guys.
Yeah, you definitely got to see. You got to see the growth. You got to see the change. I mean, I've been trying my best to keep up with, like, you know, I got the series where I talk about the things that's happening, you know, my 5 years from now, whatever, and it's basically showing the results and the effects of like the small changes, and like seeing those things happen is crazy, bro. Like it's just crazy because even me, you know, like I'm doing stuff that I didn't see it. It wasn't in the plan, and it wasn't something that I envisioned for myself. But a whole bunch of good shit's been going on.
Man, I know. It's just been popping in. Like the way the way it happened. Like just like we got that award that day.
Oh yeah.
The Bull got an award. Yeah. Man, I didn't expect that.
Yeah,
just getting nominated, I was happy.
I was happy to be nominated. I was thinking maybe so, like, you know, because I got the President's Award and I got the previously incarcerated one. You got the Champion for Diversity one. I was nominated for that one also. I'm thinking I was going to get the previously incarcerated one, and the other ones they were going to go to, you know, like the real people, right?
Right, yeah. The ones that are,
so like because
the people that are so involved, and then the ones that get the votes because they're part of the school and they're younger.
Yeah.
And we are older.
Yeah, I'm older. I'm a non-traditional person, whatever.
I'm old.
And you know, I got that imposter syndrome. Like, yeah, they're throwing me a bone with certain stuff, but like I'm not actually doing as much as everybody else is doing. And you know, I got my AAI Academic Achievement Award, so they're like, oh, he'll be happy with that. He'll be cool with whatever. And when for the leadership award, everybody else on that list that was nominated was a female.
Right.
So at the very beginning of like introducing the person, he said, and this student, he is, and I'm like,
whoa, yeah, I seen it.
Oh, that's me. And I look back, I'm like, yo, that's me. And like the way that he was talking about the things that I've done and how the impact that I've had in such a short time that I've been here, I was just like, damn, did I really actually do all of that?
You did.
And it was like, I did that because of the work that I've been doing on myself, like, and it didn't just happen overnight.
All this stuff we didn't have, like all this us working and getting involved in the school, we didn't have to. It was enough on our plate just to pass our grades, but we went above and beyond, and we started joining these clubs and just helping people on a strength.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's the way. That's what I like to do. I like to help people. I don't want them to go to the same hiccups that we did. If we can avoid them hiccups and help them up, I wish somebody would help me.
Yeah, definitely, because. And, you know, I wish there was somebody who had been through similar stuff, who didn't let that stuff break them.
Yeah, I don't know, nobody all my OGs are dead.
Yeah, and like, I wish they would have knew, you know, the right things to say. And I think that I know the right things to say because I didn't let the circumstances break me. I thrived through them. I shined through them. I walked through them with my head up. You know, I didn't fold on nothing.
I'm proud of our generation. This generation is like our generation of OGs. We are the OGs basically, but I'm saying we finally broke the cycle. We started doing something different. We started just going against what was the called like this, what was thought about us. You know, so we broke the cycle. We're breaking the cycle now.
Yeah.
And it's popping up everywhere, just like how Nipsey Hussle was breaking the cycle, stuff like that. Like, you know, people just. You know, just different stuff is going around in the penitentiary, you know, ceasefire, stuff like that. Just positive stuff that it was frowned upon before. Before it was just all about war, negativity. Now we're trying to just break. Now it's not cool to be gangster no more. It's cool to be in school and cool to do stuff. We're trying to make being a nerd cool now.
Yeah. And you know what? That's actually something that I like about Gen Z, you know, because Gen Z is coming up. They're the ones in college right now. They're the ones who like are driving, social media, the popularity of everything that goes on social media, the streamer culture, they're the ones driving that stuff, right? And you look at these dudes and like they may have like on the exterior, they may talk a certain way or act a certain way or whatever. But at the end of the day, like these dudes were the dudes who said, you know what, nah, I'm gonna stay in the house and I'm gonna talk in this camera, or I'm gonna play this video game, or I'm gonna do this, or I'm gonna stream instead of going out and actually doing like the weirdo shit. Like there's a couple of weirdos and crash dummies and shit still there. And
but it's dying out.
But it is. I feel like it is dying out because
podcast is the new thing now. It's all about positivity, and if it's not positivity, it's just stay at home type stuff.
Yeah.
So we want to interact online, so we just gotta adapt. We gotta learn how to work the algorithm, and that's what we're doing.
Yeah, because I mean, obviously there is negativity out there. Obviously, a lot of people do watch the negativity, but I feel like a lot of people.
But all that stuff, like the reality shows and all that, like MTV and all that, ain't nobody watch that shit. No
yeah, it's just going away.
Jersey Shore type and all that. That's out.
It's just out.
Even the radio, little by little, people are like, even I've been seeing Christian rap, little by little, working its way up.
Yeah, because you do, you do the Christian rap. So you got any shows coming up or anything?
Yeah, I actually got a show. I got a show May 31st in Selma, California. We're doing a car show, so you guys go check it out. It's a free event. It's gonna have a lot of stuff out there, free food. We're gonna have vendors. There'll be a lot of information out there, a lot of free performances. So it's gonna be in Selma, California, Victory Outreach, Selma, California, and it'll be May 31st. You guys check that out.
You said where?
In Selma, California.
Oh,
That's
Selma. Okay.
That's in Fresno County.
Selma, California. Selma's the one that has.
It's a grape capital of the world, I think.
Selma's the one, not the one that has all the windmills and shit.
Yeah, I think they do. They have some.
They got windmills in Selma?
Well, I think all those towns do. Kingsburg, I think it's Kingsburg.
Oh, yeah, Kingsburg.
And then it's Selma.
Kingsburg is, the downtown little street, the main street in Kingsburg, has my favorite pizza spot in Central California.
Wait, Mountain Mike's or that?
No, it's not Mountain Mike's. It's not a chain spot. It's like a little mom and pop spot. Yeah, it's an Italian dude.
Oh, I think it's right there in the bar.
Yeah.
Just Chiquios or something like that?
Something like that, yeah. That's like my favorite pizza spot in Central California.
I think Salmon, I don't know, but we did a car show last year, and Salmon, it was tight. That town, it gets together. There's going to be a lot of people there, a lot of cars. It means it's going to be different in a safe environment. It's not the same like other car shows. Everybody all drunk, fighting. It's going to be safe for the kids. Bring your kids out. It's a free event. There'll be a lot of different stuff. If you guys want to check it out on my, I have more information on my Instagram. Check the C Citizen, and my Facebook. You'll see it. Also, you're going to follow the one that's throwing is my partner in my Citizen Records. His name is Joshua19. He's out of Dinuba, California. He's a counselor out there at the high school in Visalia. And he's the one throwing it together. He's been working with outreach. He's been doing outreach. He's the one that next level intervention. He's been working with the kids. He started in the year 2000. He's been going on 25 years that he's been saved and doing positive stuff. He's kind of like my mentor in this. He's the one that opened up the door for me when I got out.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Yeah, I seen that you guys did a show here in Bakersfield.
Oh yeah, we did one in Bakersfield. We did a video shoot / show. It was like giving out free stuff to the kids. Because all the stuff we do is all nonprofit stuff, and all we do is give away stuff free. We don't try. We're trying to help people. We just give away like help, free haircuts, advice. We try to get people into the men's home, people off the streets.
That's what's up. Yeah, because I went to a men's home. I couldn't do it me myself personally.
But some people, that's all you need.
Yeah, for me it was like because I'd already done the time. I'd already been in prison. I was already clean and everything, and I'd already done MCRP. So for me, the men's home was like a step backwards.
Yeah, but I'm talking about people coming from the gutter, living in the bridge, type nobody cares about them. Maybe who knows what they're going through, mentally ill. Yeah. So we're not gonna turn you away. We're gonna accept you how you are. You'd be surprised. Some of the people that like even the pastors that are some of these churches, you'd be like, how'd you get started in this church? Like I was in the men's home. I was a heroin addict. I'm living under the bridge. They're like, you serious? And now they're millionaires. Now they got so much stuff that it's like God's been blessing them so much that they don't even know what to do with it. Like they don't even care. Like so, when you stop caring about money, you're gonna be blessed with it. Because when you start stressing on money, money's gonna kill you.
Yeah, yeah. Money.
That's why I don't stress on money no more. I have my days like I catch myself maybe here and there like a little bit of worries like I'm gonna pay this, but not like how I used to.
Yeah, you can't stress on money. You stress on money. It's one of the major causes of stress, which is like leads to heart disease, leads to all that stuff, leads to all sorts of negative health effects, leads to your alcoholism, used to go back to drugs, leads to you losing your relationships, all that stuff. Like if you're stressing on money, But so just to kind of end it off real quick, I went on a little tangent, whatever. But so my end goals, network, working in education, and the way I'm gonna do that is I'm either start working in education right here at BC, or like if I'm not able to do the thing here at BC, I'm gonna go down to UC San Diego. I'm gonna start my journey down there.
There you go.
And and I'm gonna do my thing down there, and I know you're gonna be up here at CSUB.
Yes, sir.
So if I get the job here at BC, I'm gonna be there with you at CSUB. If not, we do this thing on Zoom.
Yeah, we're gonna do it. It's still gonna
like
happen
that.
regardless. You're showing me how to do it, so I'll be able to get the footage and still send it to you or whatever how we're gonna do it.
So we'll get it figured out.
And I'll take a trip out there then.
Take a trip. We'll meet halfway, something like that.
Yeah,
figure something out. But yeah, so that's the goal. That's where I want to take it. That's what I want to do, and that's what I feel like is my purpose. Because, and here's what I'm gonna leave y'all with for this episode. In the very first chapter of the Purpose-Driven Life, it says your purpose is not for you. Your purpose is not for you. So one of the things that you have to admit to yourself is there's a reason that you're good at what you're good at, and it's not to benefit you. A fruit the fruit isn't for the tree. It's for everything else around the tree.
I hear you.
Like a pear tree never gets to eat them pears.
No, it's not. It's not for you. It's for other people.
It's for all the other people who are walking by, who interact with you, who come into your space. It's for them. It's for them to get nourishment off of. It's for them to feed off of. It's for them to grow with. It's for them to get strong with. It's for them to be hydrated by, et cetera, et cetera. And that's something that really helped me to reconcile the fact that there are things that I can do that are only going to be meant to help other people.
Amen.
So yeah, I think that's about it for this one. That's my
it.
story.
All right, let me just. I forgot to just. I need to just want to close with a prayer real quick for the people hearing this. Just bow our heads. Father God, I pray that anybody hearing this free hour, Lord, this podcast, Lord, I just pray today that you just touch their heart, Lord, and I pray that if they need help, Lord, they just message us and just get at us and let us know what your problem is, and if we can help you, Lord. I just pray that this video motivates someone, Lord, to do better, Lord, and I just pray that this video as well motivates us to keep on going, Lord. I just pray that we never go back to our vomit, Lord, and we just keep on going forward, Lord. We thank you, Father. In the mighty name of Jesus Christ, we pray. Amen.
Amen.
All right, man.
So we prayed out. So this one has been a special two-parter where we talked more about my story. My co-host, he led the conversation. Next time we get back with y'all, we're just going to start talking about, we're just going to dive into topics. We're going to figure out some topics to talk about. We're just going to dive into them. If y'all got any ideas, put them in the comments below.
Let us know.
Let us know what's something that you feel like you might want our perspective on, how we handle it, things that we've changed from, the ways that we changed from, criticisms, anything like that. I mean, to be honest, when criticism is really easy, I just don't give a fuck.
Right. Yeah, we're going to do it anyway.
The subtle art of not giving a fuck is that I don't give a fuck about what people think anymore. I give a fuck about the fact that this is what I found is my purpose. And I give a fuck about the people in my inbox, the people texting me, telling me when life gets tough, I turn to your channel. When I don't know what to do, when I'm trying to figure out my way through the dark being a new life and a changed and a turned over leaf because they just got out of prison. They've been gangbanging their whole life. They've been on drugs their whole life. And they say, when I don't know what to do, I turn to you and you give me the answers on how to carry through. So I don't give a fuck if you don't like what it is that we got going on or what I got going on. I will never lose sleep over that, period.
Amen.
But yeah, if there's a real thing that you might want to know.
Yeah. We get some constructiveness.
Yeah, how do we, reestablish relationship with kids after, being gone for a while? How do you, what's the first steps for getting back into school? What do you suggest with habits, relationships? How we feel about, the dynamics of society. I mean, anything that you might want us to talk about, hit us up. Now that we've kind of gotten it out the way of the introductions with who we are, we're going to get into some real podcast episodes. It's going to get real deep.
Now we're going in.
Now we go in. Now that you know who we really are, now we go in. All right?
Yeah. My name is Vincent Gonzalez. This has been Burpee's Paradise, a special segment of the Free Hour, and we're out of here.
It's your boy Tree. Deuces. All right.
Yeah, we shot that.